Nothing better on
You like
on an interesting Friday than listen to the Temptations while reading Islamic studies. Nothing better than that. Hi, everybody. Tom Trento on the 12. That's got to be something related to that somewhere. 12/12/14. 2 years ago, I guess it would have been 12/12/12. Not I guess. I know it was 2 years ago. Good to be here at 6 minutes after 4 o'clock on 12/12/14. That would be 13 days till Xmas and 5 days
Would you
till
please stop calling it
Chanukah.
that? Don't call it. Please do not call it Xmas.
Xmas
He
and
already
Chanukah.
explained to you that is perfectly
it's still
acceptable
wrong.
as a
It's
Christian.
still
Okay,
wrong.
Sorry.
Yeah. The unicorn knows better than the studied theologian.
I'll call it Christmas, and Hanukkah. How's that?
Okay.
Hanukkah.
All right. That works.
All right. Anyway, hi, everybody. Is today what I think it is?
Oh,
I think it
It
is.
It could be. Just a minute.
Well, let's ask our audience out there. You've been following the show, many of you, on your little iPads and iPhones, watching at the UnitedWest.org or TeaPartyCommunity.com. Or you've been listening in your automobiles or even in your Walkmans. For those of you that are kind of retro, you've been listening on WSBR radio, AM radio, 740 on the dial. And you know, like we know, when it's Friday, it's not just any Friday. It's not just Friday here, Friday there, Friday anywhere. It is Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday. And yes, it is. And I'm sitting here. I'm on location today.
Yes, you are.
I am anywhere, if you see the background, I am anywhere in an Islamic country on the face of the earth, at least according to a huge report that came out that the BBC, we're right-wing, crazy, fringe lunatics, according to many.
Yes.
We are here at the United West. We wear that label proudly. Would you put the British Broadcasting Company in the same modality as us, right-wing fringe?
I thinketh not.
No, I'd have to go the other direction with that.
Well, they have an interesting report that we're going to look at, which indicates the picture behind me. But what else do we have on store for the folks today on this Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday?
Tom, it's been a pretty busy week, as you will know. And there's been no shortage of craziness. Starting in the Middle East, we have terrorist throws acid at Jewish family near Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing new there.
Nothing new there.
We have Arabs throw rocks at officers in Hebron, which is pretty hot today. I think you were just reading right before we started.
Little activity.
I believe that has to do with the death of Abu Ain, the minister of protest, recently deceased.
Nothing new there, but we'll look at that.
We have, this is a good one. We have Obama quotes non-existent Bible verse in immigration speech. We have a little video to go along with that soon.
We're going to show a little video of President Obama, Christian,
yes,
quoting a Bible verse that doesn't exist.
Well, yes.
Regarding his immigration policy, which ought not exist. Okay.
Correct.
All right. What else we have?
We have, this is another good one. Crazy Uncle Joe Biden tried to lecture Ayaan Hirsi Ali about Islam. And for those of you who don't know, Ayaan Hirsi Ali was born Muslim in a Muslim country and is no longer Muslim, but is very well versed in Islam, wouldn't you say, Tom?
I would think so.
Yes.
I think she's converted to atheism.
Well, Joe Biden thought that he knew a little bit more about Islam than Ayaan Hirsi Ali.
That's going to be very interesting.
That one
what
we'll
else
get
do we
to.
have?
Yesterday we had John Brennan, the head of the CIA, come out and defends the CIA, admits some techniques were abhorrent.
Okay.
Abhorrent. And you know what? What shocks me about this whole thing of everyone's shock and surprise, you would think that these people never watched a movie or a television series about the intelligence.
All right, we got something with John Brennan, CIA. What else?
We have, Tom.
We got good stuff.
This one you're going to like.
We always have good stuff.
Yeah.
We have halal wine. Halal wine. Yes. We have halal wine. Allow the pleasure.
All right. For those of you at 11 minutes after 4 o'clock on December 12, 2014. Tom Trento, your host, Enemies of the State. The show on Fridays, we do Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday. We take a look at our Islamic brothers and sisters and the religion of peace and some of the absurdities inherent in this system that is causing chaos and destruction worldwide. But we also take a little look at the lighter side of Islam. And halal means religiously approved wine.
Right.
Yes,
Isn't
Tom.
it wrong to drink wine in Islam?
Oh, hello, am I late?
You're late.
Imam Abdullah.
Yes,
Well,
I'm
glad
sorry
you're
I'm
here.
late. I do not
We
mean
almost
to
skipped him
interrupt.
for the day.
I am fresh from the mosque from Juma prayers.
Good to have you
Good to
here.
Please,
to
I
have you
apologize.
We're gonna do a piece on halal wine. Seems like a clear
Excuse me?
halal wine.
What the hell is wrong with you, Trento?
I'd save it. Let's talk about that a little
Okay,
later.
we come back.
Damon, what else do we have for today?
We have report ISIS selling James Foley's body for $1 million. Islamic State terror group hits new lows, seeking to cash in on the gruesome beheading of U.S. journalists killed in August.
I got $5. We don't make it through half of this stuff.
I know. These guys must be sucking wind for money, or it's a big psyops operation to just screw with the American people.
Just a couple real quick things. Yesterday, congressional staffers protest on steps of Capitol. You had the Congressional Black
Hold
Caucus.
on. Let me zoom that one in just a second.
All right, well, we're looking for you driving. We got a picture of the U.S. Capitol and a whole bunch of people in front of
Let me
it.
zoom
What is that
that
all
one
about?
Oh, wrong zoom.
Well, it appears that staffers that work within the Congressional Black Caucus and a
What are
couple
they
of the
doing here?
other minority, like Hispanic caucuses, decided to walk off of their jobs and show solidarity with the families of Michael Ferguson Brown and
Are these knuckleheads
Eric
holding,
Garner.
Are these knuckleheads holding their hands up?
And
like,
yes, Mark.
oh,
Yes, Mark.
God.
They are holding their hands up.
They should be
As
fired.
in the hands up, don't shoot. These are congressional staffers that you would think should be educated enough to know the facts in the case. That Michael Brown, there was no hands up, don't shoot. So what this is you now have, this is how bad it's gotten, is you have people that are paid for with U.S. tax dollars in the Capitol that work for Congress people agitating and spreading a false narrative about Ferguson, Missouri.
Yep. All right, that's going to be a good one.
I mean,
take a
this-
look at that. Our answer to that is a little thing that we saw a little bit earlier in the day. This is hands up, don't shoot. How about this as an answer to Ferguson? Let's take a look at that.
Well, you're a little too quick.
Oh,
for
a
him.
little too fast. Okay. I thought we had the A team in there today.
Well, yeah, you
know.
got
Oh, no, it's Jumpin' Jum'ah. The A
Jumpin'
team's down at the
Jumpin'
beach.
Jum'ah Freaky
Okay.
Friday, right.
Well, we'll bring it in a little later.
Well, we got it
Oh, we
right
got it
here.
right here.
All right, here we go.
just
Coming
need
up
a
on the
little,
screen. And Mark, why don't you read America's response to hands up, don't shoot? What
Oh,
do you
this
got
is
there?
actually pretty good. This is pants up, don't loot. America's response to Ferguson.
Oh,
Standing
that's
on an
racist.
overpass. They have it on an overpass. Big blue letters. Pants up, don't shoot. They look like they're even lit up.
Pants up,
Don't loot.
Loot,
don't
don't
loot.
loot. Don't loot. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
the goofy
Yeah.
the goofy terms going around or a slogan, hands up, don't shoot. This little graphic says America's response to Ferguson: pants up, don't loot.
That's racist.
That's racist.
Very interesting. We'll look at that a little later on our 6-hour show today. What else do we have?
I said I got $5. We never
Tom,
make
I
it.
think that's going to basically be it. I know we want to talk about
Here, I have
the
Geert
great
Wilders.
Geert Wilders.
Yeah, Geert Wilders.
Yeah, we have
as
Geert
well,
Wilders'
so-
statement to throw all the Moroccans out of Holland who do not want to assimilate. Yesterday's show, we dealt with the
Yes.
issue of assimilation and participation in the melting pot of the United States of America. So we'll get into that. But 15 minutes now after 4 o'clock, Tom Trento. Hey, folks, if you're planning on coming down for the Hanukkah or Christmas holidays to Florida, we had a little cold spell. It got down to 60 degrees or even 55
Yeah, it was
degrees.
48
freezing.
at night.
It was
48 at
48.
night.
Oh, my word.
Man, I actually
that.
put a blanket on.
Going back in the 70s for the weekend and back to our wonderful, beautiful, dry, warm, wonderful Florida air. But don't come down here because there's snakes and alligators in the street.
Terrible.
There's insects, there's bugs,
Horrible.
there's crime, there's everything. Stay the heck where you live. But send your money anyway. That's what we need down here.
He's such a
A lot
good
of stuff going on.
fundraiser.
He's such a good
A lot of
fundraiser.
stuff. Oh, fundraising. We do need to raise money. It's the end of the year. We know many of you out there have more money than you need, more money than God has. All
God.
we're asking is to allow some of that to flow our way. If you don't, the president is going to increase taxes if you've been listening lately. You're just going to pay to have more absurd things done to you by the government. Send us this is a good pitch, actually.
Oh.
Send us the money. We will do things to protect you from the government that wants to harm you. Who wouldn't go
Well,
for
too
that?
late. They just did the $1.1 trillion spending bill yesterday that every conservative was against and some of the ultra far left liberals were against. But it was a perfect example
Yep.
of the Grover controlled,
Grover
Right.
Norquist
the
control.
rhinos and the sellout Republicans signed on. John Boehner ought to be thrown out on his keister.
Absolutely.
Louis Gohmert was making big red warning flags about these guys, and
And we need to look into that. So anyway, send us your money, theunitedwest.org. We're tax exempt, which means if you send us a $10,000 check,
yes, like that.
you do that, you get we send you a little receipt that says this is a good guy. And in fact, for 10 grand, Mark will come and deliver the receipt to you wherever you live and
Yes,
bring
I
you a
will.
pizza.
Within
whatever
the
kind of pizza you
United
want.
States.
Well, yeah, anywhere in the United States, you got to pay for it.
Or
You gotta pay
Israel,
for
if
the
you could wait
airfare.
till
Or
March.
Israel, yeah.
Or Israel. Yeah.
If you write us a check, no matter how menial, we understand that some of you don't make the kind of money that others of you make. That's okay. Anything. We are looking for end of the year donations.
Even high,
come out in the-
$18 would be wonderful.
It would be wonderful. Come on as a monthly donor. We appreciate that. We have a lot of good stuff coming. We've launched the Israel Security Project, which is really a national security project for the United States of America. We'll
Right.
show you all of that. In fact, we had a little piece of video for them
And
today.
our trip in March.
Trip in March. We want you to come on that. There it is on the screen. We're bringing a small group, 30, 40 people who are very serious about the United States national security, fighting Islamic jihad. We're bringing you to the center of the galaxy for the jihad issue, Israel, to be briefed by the experts on Islamic jihad, Israelis, so that you can come back and show your friends pictures of being in Israel, but more so, you're trained as a counterterrorism activist for our program for the next 2 years. This is a course. You're going to take a 2-week course with us, and then we'll have continuing education that will follow. This is serious stuff.
Yeah, if
folks.
you're a serious
Come with
activist,
us.
if you want to become a serious activist, you're going to meet Gary Bernstein.
Looks like he's coming
Looks
with
like
us,
he's
Frank
coming.
Gaffney.
Frank Gaffney. Gary Bernstein, the former station chief, CIA under George Bush.
CIA.
Yeah, CIA. And it's going to be a good trip.
YMCA.
And the thing about it is now you're able to talk intelligently about these places that you talk about every day in your activism.
And if you come to the trip, you become a gold member of the United West.
Yep.
Whatever that is. and that allows you for
Right.
our insider report. You ever see these companies? And then
I know
every
a guy that used to be on network TV that went and opened his own network that has that insider
As
kind
that
of
insider
stuff.
thing. We'll give you inside information. And
No, we
for a little, and then if you really come on a trip, we'll give you outside information.
That's
too.
right.
So stay tuned for inside and outside information.
And Tom will come to your kids' bar mitzvahs.
And I will do my Mickey Mouse dance. What's it called?
But it's a very serious tour. We have no fun on it whatsoever.
Yeah,
no,
we have
no
no
fun.
fun.
No fun on it whatsoever.
and we don't have any wine from Israel.
No, we don't have any wine from Israel.
So, but good having you all here on a wonderful Friday, Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday. And for our Muslim friends that are watching, our thesis is very simple, that Islam is primarily a political system that has failed. Now, if you live in the United States, you understand the ability we have as free speech advocates to say these things. If you're in some foreign Islamic country watching or listening, the fact that you want to cut our heads off or kill us underscores the big idea that we're sharing with you, that you're so locked into a failed system that you have to kill people or want to hurt people who challenge your system. Whenever you have a system that's challenged, by system I mean a philosophical or religious system, whenever you have a system that's challenged and your immediate response is to hurt the other person, it isn't strength on your part. It's weakness, inherent weakness in the system you're defending. Because if indeed Islam is true, you ought to challenge, as I do about Christianity, you ought to welcome the challenges, because are you interested primarily in following a system that could be flawed and failed and lead to your eternal demise? Or do you want to, our good Muslim brothers and sisters, want to follow a system that's true? If you're interested in the truth, I submit to you, Islam is false. It's false philosophically. There's internal contradictions. It's incoherent in dealing with the facts of life. And it most certainly does not provide existential gratification once you understand it all. There's always the hope that at some point Allah will accept something you did to be kind to you and bring you into paradise. This show's designed to challenge that. And thank God we're doing this to help you that way, folks. So, what's next on the agenda?
I think we wanted to start with the Obama video. Being you're talking religion,
Yes.
let's go right from one bad religion to a guy who doesn't know anything about his religion.
Now look, I
Hold on.
just had a little explanation of the problems with Islam. Let me
Right.
show you the problems with President Obama's
Oh,
Christianity. Watch this.
All right, hold on.
Watch and listen.
And I think, good book says, don't throw stones in glass houses, or make sure we're looking at the log in our eye before we're pointing out the mote in other folks' eyes. And I think that's as true in politics as it is in life.
All right. Okay.
All right. Oh, even I, as a Unitarian, know that's wrong. Okay.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was not President Obama. That's the guy on Saturday Night Live doing a sketch on President Obama. No, was that President Obama?
Tom, that was actually him.
That was him.
That was really him.
That was really him.
Look, I'm not big on body language. Yeah, I'm big on body language. When somebody's like this, the obvious stuff. This guy is so uncomfortable with talking about the
good book.
Good book. He didn't say the Bible, right? So he's got an out. I didn't say the Bible.
That's right. He could have been talking about Oprah Winfrey's
It could
latest.
have been her book or book of the month club. So this president, if I had to judge no other way, and I have a fairly extensive theological background, if I had to judge no other way, this president is not a Christian. We're going to play that again. Watch real carefully.
Oh, you want to play it again?
Oh, we can
Okay.
play this 100 times. It's so good. Watch this.
This is
Watch
crazy.
and listen.
All right, here we go.
Wait, hold it. Let's set it up. Who's he talking to? What's this about?
Yeah.
While there are plenty of Bible verses to mention while discussing immigration, President
Immigration?
Obama on Tuesday quoted one which isn't so great, mainly because it's not real. The good book says, don't throw stones at glass houses, or make sure we're looking at the log in our eye before we are pointing out the mote in other folks' eyes.
This is an immigration
Obama
talk?
said during a speech in Nashville.
So he's in
So
Nashville.
he's in Nashville on Tuesday talking about the immigration. And
Okay.
the headline reads, Obama quotes non-existent Bible verse in immigration speech.
All right, play it again, and then I'll explain the verse here.
Okay. There you go.
And I think, good book says, don't throw stones in glass houses, or make sure we're looking at the log in our eye before
Okay.
we're pointing out the mote in other folks' eyes. And,
Right.
and I think that's
That's good politics.
as
he
true in
said.
politics as it is in life.
All right, so there's three major problems with this, okay?
Just
He has-
logically.
he has two metaphors that aren't only mixed, but they're completely wrong, okay? The first metaphor about the good book says don't throw stones if you live in glass houses ain't in any Bible I've ever seen in my life.
I didn't think they had glass houses back in the early days.
I think Don Rickles came up with that, or I don't know where that came from. Don't throw stones if you live in glass houses, but it ain't in the Bible, okay? Yeah, do they have glass houses? Hey, Adam, build me a glass house, will you please? Okay.
Oh, wait till
Moses.
the Sodom and Gomorrah thing to blast that sand into glass. I'll get it right to you.
All right, so he's historically inaccurate. He's biblically inaccurate, and so I can't even comment biblically on don't throw stones in glass houses. It has nothing to do with the Bible. President's
Right.
completely wrong. It shows a lack of understanding about the Bible. Now you can mix your metaphors up here, but you ought to know any Christian, brand new Christian would say that ain't in the Bible. I never saw that in the Bible.
Bible,
All right,
right.
so
Okay.
the next one, he says, and then he jumps to another mixed metaphor. He says, take the log out of your own
Looking
eye.
at the log in our eye before we're pointing out the mote in other folks' eyes.
Well, first of all, when you're speaking something confidently, as he should, you would say, hey, the Bible says you got to take the log out of your own eye. And I'll read the verse right here. You hypocrite, it says, first take the plank or log, interchangeable, out of your own eye, then you will see clearly to remove this speck from your brother's eye. So the metaphor is very simple. That was in Matthew chapter 7. That's Matthew followed Jesus for his 3 years on earth and wrote the story of Jesus. And these are the words of Jesus. Jesus said, before you're going to criticize somebody else, look at your own life. And he used a metaphor because we're in Israel,
Right.
in the first century. There's dirt and stuff all over the place. They always got things in their eyes. And Jesus simply said, take the speck out of your own eye. Take the big thing out of your own eye, the log that's in your eye, and then you can see clearly. Take the little thing out of your brother's eye. Obama says, again, listen to what he says. This is unbelievable.
All right, here we go.
All right, before we're pointing out the mote in other folks' eyes.
Okay. So he says, take the log out of your own eye. There's a log. We have a picture of
Okay.
that. And we're harping on this, ladies and gentlemen, to underscore the fact that President Obama is not a Christian. I don't care what he says. This guy is not a
Book of
Christian.
Jebediah.
He is an Arabist, number one. He is pro-Islamic. He's a neo-Marxist. And you mix all these things together, he's trouble for the United States of America. But watch what he says you're going to take out of the other person's eye. So picture taking a piece of wood out of your eye, and then it says a little piece of wood, the Bible says, out of the other guy's eye. Not Obama. He's rewritten the Bible. What is he taking out of the other person's eye?
Apparently, he's taking a mote
We're pointing out the mote in
out
other
of
folks'
their
eyes.
eye, which is I thought the log in the eye was tough. That was tough, but we did manage to get the log in the eye there.
We're showing
Well,
a
putting
picture of a person with a log in their eye.
How do you get a moat in some?
But
in
I
your
don't know
eye?
how you get
What
a
the heck is
moat.
a moat? Because our audience is confused right
That's a
now.
damn nice castle in
That's a
moat,
moat,
though.
yeah.
What is a moat?
Oh, that's the moat they're wanting to put around the White House to stop the people from going into the White House to kill the
No, it
president.
was actually the moat was for Mexico that Obama wanted to
Oh,
do.
was that one?
Not realizing that there was a river there called the Rio Grande.
Show the picture of the moat.
Right.
A moat is a big ditch dug around
Around
a
it.
castle to keep bad people, slow them down from getting to the castle. They have to climb up. You shoot arrows down at them. A moat has nothing to do with a log or a speck or anything.
Or a splinter.
Or a splinter.
Unbelievable. Yeah, there's a splinter. This, again, for a guy who sat in church for 20 years
Oh, that's
in
Reverend
Chicago,
Reverend Wright.
20 years, you're not allowed, and you're the president of the United States, and you say you're a Christian, you are not allowed to make mistakes on simple Bible verses. You only do that when you're not a Christian. You don't understand this stuff, and that's the president's
Well, he's not really a president either.
Well, that's true. No, he was elected twice fairly in the United States.
Well, this is what you
fairly
get
is
out of
fairly is the questionable part.
this is what you get out of Reverend Jeremiah Wright's church out of Chicago.
Right? Yeah, he's got moats all around his Chicago mansions, you know.
Yeah, him and Louis Farrakhan both.
Okay, all right. Well, big idea number one on Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday. This president is going to side with Islam over the next 696 days until November 8, 2016. Israel's going to be in his crosshairs. We are here to expose that and stand between him and the United States national security. He's decimated our military. He now is going to bring in millions of criminals. If you're an illegal immigrant in the United States, you're a criminal. We don't really care if you got a sob story. I'll give you good American citizens that are struggling like crazy with sob stories. So if you want to make policy decisions on sob stories, at least put the Americans first with their sob story. Why criminal elements who have a sob story supersedes good Americans who have sob stories. You can't make policy on sob stories, folks, or you won't have a rule of law country anymore.
That's the point, man. We don't want no stinking rule of law.
Put me in charge for one day. I would be strung up in
it goes back to that
courtyard.
earlier story we had. Hands up, don't shoot. You have everybody in Washington holding their stupid hands up for something that didn't happen.
For something that didn't happen.
And this is the same type of policy, this same type of mentality is happening with Obama and his immigration policy. It's so illogical.
How many people were in that picture, roughly? 100 people?
There was
Way more.
It was more than 100.
I will grant 50% are just stump stupid people that
No,
are just
this is-
following.
These are staffers that work for
Washington.
Excuse me. I spent many years running in and out of Washington, talking to staffers. Back to my point. Half of these people are just stump stupid people. Many of these staffer positions are political payoff from the parents helping out, and your kid gets on the staff.
Yeah,
all of it.
but Tom,
I'll
come
give
on.
50% are just dummies going along for some sort of job advancement. The other 50% are smart people. So why are they doing this? There's some ulterior motive in standing in front of the United States Capitol and protesting this matter.
hands up, don't shoot.
Well, we got a quick answer to that. Pants up, don't loot.
Loot.
How about that? Pull your pants up and stop looting. And in fact, we saw that in Ferguson. All the ones proclaiming hands up, don't shoot, had their pants down and were looting. Criminal element there. And if you're going to, again, do policy issues, you got to dispassionately remove all this nonsense and say, do we have a problem with law enforcement in this country so badly that we need officials and now government officials protesting the thin blue line, the brave men and women every day that strap up and go out and risk their lives? Is there a problem with police, or is there a problem with some individual police officers, which these folks ought to be saying, hey, forget about this hands up, don't shoot nonsense. We got possibly one or two bad people we're looking at in these cases, possibly. Let's not indict all policemen, no, but they are complicit with the criminal element, those people standing in front of the state capitol. Pants up, folks. Don't loot. I want to go to the BBC article now where the British Broadcasting Company released an extensive report in the month of November.
That far right organization,
That
the BBC,
far-right
that
organization,
wacky,
yeah.
crazy organization.
That far-right British Broadcasting Company that fits in most wonderfully with Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday. Because it is what? Somebody set the thing up like, get a drink of water.
Oh, bring up the graphic?
Yeah,
Set it up. What's the story
there it is.
about?
Oh, jihadism, tracking a month of deadly attacks. Jihadist attacks killed more than 5,000 people in just 1 month. An investigation by the BBC World Service and King's College London has found civilians bore the brunt of the violence, with more than 2,000 killed in reported jihadist incidents during November 2014, the month we just finished.
All right.
1 month.
All right, wait a minute. You're reading a headline, and at 34 minutes after 4 o'clock on Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday, 12/12/14, WSBR radio, AM, we're on the AM station, 740 on your dial. TeaPartyCommunity.com. You can go and watch us there. You need to watch the show.
Facebook for Islamophobes.
We got great graphics and video for you today. Every day we do. Tom Trento here, Enemies of the State. No commercials, commercial-free radio. The only commercial is send us some money so we can keep doing this crazy stuff and come with us to Israel. Those are our commercials, basically. But
Yes.
you're reading from the BBC. They put out a report on their website. That's interesting. The first two sentences you read, Damon, what do you think about this, Imam Abdullah?
This is fantastic. We have a very good month. Unfortunately, some of the victims have been militant Sunnis, and some ISIS have been killed. But for the most part, we're killing heretics and Shia.
Okay,
so I
so
have no
you
complaints, and
like
some
it.
Christians too. What is left in the Middle East? A couple Christians we kill.
But the BBC never mentioned Islam in the headline.
They say
It says
jihadism.
jihadist. What kind of other
What?
jihadists are there?
What is, yeah.
But they never mentioned
No
Islam.
one better hijack my jihad, baby.
I'm wondering if they're mentioning because there's Christian jihadists we're hearing now, and there's a Bosnian jihadist, and we're hearing everything but Islamic jihadists. I'm wondering if in the story we know it's Islam. I wonder if they're going to use the term Islam to see how far to the right.
Well, they talk about Islamic State. They say Islamic State carried out the most attacks,
Okay, all right. Now-
adding to the spiraling death toll in Iraq and Syria.
What's the gist of the 5,000 people killed in 1 month due to Islamic jihadism? And let's break it down as to who killed whom and how many were killed where.
Oh, fantastic. This is like going over game film. This is like NFL primetime, like jihadi primetime. We talk
After
about
you
the
won.
big plays. And the
After,
big...
after you won the Super Bowl
Yes,
to
this
review
is
the game
fantastic.
film.
It's like reviewing game film.
All right, we'll let you review it. Let's put it
Yes.
up.
Let us
Let
do
the
this.
viewers take a look.
Okay, this first
Okay.
graphic.
All right, hold on. Let me get there.
We're getting there to the first graphic at 37 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, our first
37
graphic
minutes.
shows you the geographic
And for Greenwich,
distribution.
Okay.
We see 14 countries, 664 attacks, 5,042 deaths.
does it list the countries that the attacks were in? The
Yes,
main
we're
ones?
going to do that.
Yeah,
Yes, we have Iraq leading the way. Congratulations,
Taking
Iraq.
Gold star. Right? Gold
Yes,
medal.
we have Nigeria. Congratulations to you, Boko.
Silver
Coming in a
medalist,
very
yeah.
strong silver medal. Afghanistan, very, very close. Neck and neck. You almost have to split with Nigeria, but I'm very proud of my African brethren. Next, we have Syria. Which is
Syria's way down the
surprising.
list,
You know what? Because most of the Christians have been killed in Syria in the last couple of years, so it is getting harder. And you see that ISIS is taking over more and more.
By comparison, how many killed in Syria versus number one, Iraq?
Iraq look like around 1750 maybe, and Syria look like 450 approximate, or a little under
Wow.
500. So it is not Iraq is crushing Syria. I'm sorry, no, I am wrong. Syria was about 700, so more than twice as much.
What about Yemen? I see Yemen's in 5th place there.
Yes, Yemen. Well, of course, you have what is going on with this filthy Shia coming in back by Iran, and so they've been stirring up problems. The military must crush.
The top 5 countries, we have Iraq, Nigeria, Afghanistan, Syria, and Yemen.
Yes, yes.
How many total were killed in those 5 countries in the month of November?
Oh my goodness!
This is Muslims
Well,
killing-
the top 4 countries were 80% of losses. Let us see here.
5,000,
Iraq was
4,000.
most dangerous place. 1770 deaths, 223 attacks.
Okay.
Nigeria 786.
About 4,000.
Is
All right, so roughly 4,000 people killed. Muslims killing Muslims. Muslims kill. Now, were any Christian jihadists, whatever that may be?
those are called crusaders.
No, all this killing was Muslim killing Muslims, basically.
Well, we actually have to go over
Muslims
to
killing
our other.
Christians or Zoroastrians.
You know what? I'm glad to see the BBC is actually keeping up with this, because we've been reporting on this stuff for years. We go all the way back to
Yeah, we do our bombathon.
The Ramadan
Ramadan,
Bamathang.
and
Very
all that
good.
stuff. And
Now, who are the killers? Who are the particular killers in this case?
Well, ISIS is leading the way. ISIS is by far and away kicking everybody's ass here. ISIS is responsible for about 2,200.
so the
and
Islamic
next,
State,
yes,
in those 5 areas, the 5 states we said, they killed about 2,200 people.
yes.
Wow, they're way ahead.
They're doing very good. Just for your audience to know, this number, the 5,042, breaks down to about 7 people an hour.
7 people in an
About
hour.
7 people an hour. So again, a big shout
Hold
out
on.
to the Ummah.
Hold on. Stop. Cut. Here. Cut. Because if There was an airplane going down with 7 people killed
Oh, he's going to get logical on us now. Go ahead.
every hour. That means an airplane full of people a day crashing into the ground, killing people. There would be nonstop outrage in the world about airline safety. Oh my God, there's all these people. They wouldn't care if they're Muslim, Indian, American, or an aircraft has gone down. Oh man, they're falling out of the sky. Every day a 747 is crashing out of the sky.
Well, you know what else is so funny is that this report come out the same week as your infidel CIA report, and it makes so funny that you people in America are so concerned and embarrassed by the methods of your CIA when we kill more people in a couple of days than you did in
an
a decade.
Hour.
No,
In an
no.
hour.
None of these guys died that
No,
were
one died. He had
tortured.
hypothermia. You killed him.
and ironically, the new president of Afghanistan has now charged and wants to investigate the United States because some of this took place on his property. How many dead people in Afghanistan in November was it?
Oh, let's
700, 800?
Yeah.
Look, you can't get logical, Mark, on us. I know you like ones and zeros.
About
and push a button.
750.
If you get logical, the world has to say, the UN and all that has to say, Islam is the biggest threat to the existence of every human on the planet. You got to
That
say
is
that.
Islamophobic, my friend.
Yes, it's Islamophobic. But
And during, in,
who else? Who were the other killers there? So
Okay,
Islamic
no-
State is number one.
Yes, Islamic State far and away the number one. Next is Boko Haram.
guys are-
Infamous for stealing all the little girls, and that Michelle Obama with the Bring Our Girls Back campaign. That is so funny. She care about that. She does not care. The next is the Taliban. Still
the
there.
Taliban's still
yes,
active.
they're still
Okay.
around.
They're not
Then next
Afghanistan.
you have ACAP, Al Qaeda in Arabian Peninsula.
Oh man, they're in a distant.
Now, I must say, someone who has not been doing a lot lately, and I have a little bit of disappointment, is Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab is at maybe 250, 300 for the month. Boko Haram is kicking your ass, Al-Shabaab.
yeah,
I mean, go to you need to get into Minneapolis. You need to recruit if you're going to keep up with Boko Haram.
the jihadi Olympics here, man.
You know they're having the same exact conversation internally. They watch this. Their social media guys are going. Boko Haram's going, man, we got to kick it up a bit. We got to smash some.
Al-Shabaab should be embarrassed for themselves.
Al-Shabaab is.
And here
is
it comes around
sucking
turn
wind.
number 3. Boko Haram's in behind, followed by Al-Shabaab.
All right, well, the picture we have behind us, folks, on today's show, 43 minutes after 4 o'clock, Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday, WSBR, you're just tuning into your radio. You're going, what are these guys talking about? All these dead people all over the place. Hey, it's Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday, and we are coming up with our own report that we invented out of I'm sorry. This report came from the British Broadcasting Company, who did a survey of the Islamic slaughter that took place in the month of November. This is the British Broadcasting Company. We're reporting on their study, and they are showing that Islam slaughtered 5,000 people in the month of November alone. I wonder if they're going to do it in December. We're shining a light on that to show that Islam, as Geert Wilders has said, is the Sharia component of Islam is incompatible with Western civilization. They're just simply incompatible for a whole lot of reasons. And as we move into the United States and bring people in who don't want to leave their Islam or their Sharia behind, don't want to melt into the pot that's called America, we will have ongoing and systemic problems. And we're here to say, hey, open our arms to everyone who wants to be an American. Open our arms to no one who wants America to change to be from one of the rat holes they come from. That's what the show's about today. It's very, very important. Yeah.
And the civilian casualties, I mean, this is just insane. They don't care. The majority of their kills are civilians.
The majority are?
The majority are.
Well, then, that's not by default. They're targeting civilians for some reason.
Right.
Unless, well, you ever see when they
Well,
shoot?
maybe-
like
It says
jihadists?
civilians. It does not say innocent civilians. It just says civilians.
Good point.
So it's about like the same way Gaza launches their rockets over at Israel indiscriminately. They don't care where it comes down. They're just there to provide terror, to scare the people away. So a person dies, And if we get lucky, we hit someone important.
Takbir!
Well,
And
I think it's time to go to Gaza. You want to mention Gaza? Why don't we go there?
Okay.
And as you know, I was there on the border of Gaza not too long ago, and I brought some video back.
Yes, you did.
That we could actually show of a location where the rockets are being launched from in Gaza, and we'll underscore a very important point today. I want to raise this question for our listening and viewing audience. At 45 minutes after 4 o'clock on WSBR Radio 740 on your dial on the AM channel, theunitedwest.org. Tom Trento, your host. I'm here with the crew, Mark Damon, and a whole host of other people on 12-12-14. And if you look behind me, if you're watching, you see destruction all over the place. Looks like a mosque or some sort of Islamic building blown up. And we're highlighting the fact that Islam is a system that destroys, and they're slicing each other's throats and destroying each other in the Levant, in Iraq, in Syria. And we made some interesting points along these ways, but take a look at this piece of video. I'll set it up for you. In July and August, we had 55 days of a war entitled Operation Protective Edge by the Israelis, because there was an incessant amount of rockets being fired from Gaza into southern Israel. And we covered that war. We did specials on it very comprehensively here at the United West. I took a trip there recently, had a briefing at one of the kibbutzes, the social communities where people get together to live as a big family, 300 people in this kibbutz. And they basically agricultural work they do. They raise stuff and sell it. And the woman that you're going to see is giving us a briefing, walking through.
The woman behind you.
The lady behind me, look at that. And that's Aria Gozi, our on-the-ground correspondent, reporting from us every Wednesday. He was with me. In fact, he set this up. Listen carefully, and for those of you watching, you're going to see some amazing images of something. Check this out.
You see it, Miss Good.
Okay, go ahead.
Between the three trees, there's two trees and one tree.
Yes.
Between the two
We
trees
see a
and one
mosque,
tree,
yeah.
you see a mosque.
Oh,
a
yes,
dome,
I see the dome.
There used to be two minarets, one on either side.
That's the one that
But the UN kept all those rockets and...
Yeah, that collapsed.
Okay.
They used to launch rockets from that
Yes,
mosque.
That's why it got
Yeah.
destroyed. And from what I understand,
Yes. They
the,
were
the dome that we see is full of holes.
Yeah, but is this the fence that protects the kibbutz?
This is our kibbutz
Just
fence.
freeze that for a second.
Those
is-
are our
For
fields.
those of you watching,
those are still
Those
you could see that we were standing at a fence. And for those of you driving in your automobile, I'm there with about 4 or 5 people. And the woman is briefing us on what's going on. There's a fence on the edge of their kibbutz proper. Then there's a huge field that is part of their farm area that they normally farm. But the IDF has put up these protective fences now that almost have a demilitarized zone. If you're floating around in that zone during Operation Protective Edge, you're going to get shot because nobody's supposed to be there except the bad guys. That zone right now on the screen. And just about a kilometer to the right of where my camera's pointed was one of the tunnels that was found. And there was a plan by the Hamas on Rosh Hashanah
We're on the screen behind you, right to the right.
to screen right.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the 2 trees on the right, go about a kilometer to the right as you're looking at it, left.
You can actually
that way.
point at it, Tom.
Yeah, over there, that way, that direction. The tunnel is there. They were trying to get me in the tunnel, but the IDF had just shut it down for some intelligence reasons. Next trip, I think we may be able to get in the tunnel. This woman has been in the tunnel and took, I think, a CNN crew in there a month or 2 ago.
Right.
And what you're going to see now, this is all unedited footage. We didn't put this into any videos yet. She's talking about a mosque in the distance, about a kilometer away, about half a mile away. And I'm going to zoom in, and then we will freeze frame on the mosque. This is one of the mosques, the primary mosque, that rockets were being fired from.
What are you talking
By the
about?
Hamas. And the Israelis put an end to that. But then the UN, what did they, resupply this
They
mosque?
give the missiles back. It was not the Israelis. It belonged to Hamas. So all the UN did is give Hamas their rockets back.
And take a look now what the Israelis did to the minarets on this mosque.
Fields.
Those are still
Those are still our fields.
Okay, where's the border?
The border is where you see the last tower.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
I
the
got
border.
you. Okay. It's very close, yeah.
It
And
is.
where by the tunnels? Did they come close by here?
The tunnels were over there between us and those buildings are also Gaza. All this is Gaza.
Gaza kill.
Right there?
That's it. That is great camera work. Amazing camera
Yeah,
work.
great camera.
I'm in the wind holding. No, leave the shot on there. I'm
You
going
do,
to
it's
explain.
behind you.
Yeah. Well, if you get it,
Okay.
right there. You could see the primary dome of the mosque, and for those of you at 51 minutes after the hour, 4 o'clock in the East Coast, 1 o'clock, we're all our good friends out in California. We have some very dear friends out there, praying for some of them in particular. You could see the main dome of the mosque, and then the minarets are usually on each side. And who
Right.
lives up in the minarets? Who goes up there? The
The
call to prayer,
call to prayer guy.
muezzin. They
Yeah,
go up there and
what's his name?
do
It is the most lovely sound on
Yes,
earth. Just
yes.
ask Obama.
Ask Obama and the head of the CIA. Kind of
Yes,
likes that
Mr.
sound.
Brennan, he loved that sound also.
And the minarets obviously are used for targeting, and because these missiles don't have guidance control. These Qassam rockets, Mark, you held them in your hands when we were out
Yep.
there. They're about 8 feet long, about 8 inches in diameter, and their trajectory is simply there's a payload put on it, the weight of the stuff that's going to explode.
With nuts and bolts, and it's shrapnel to throw out.
main
It is
and
a
destroy.
flying
Main
pipe
destroy.
bomb.
It's a
Yep.
flying pipe bomb. Is what
And then the amount of again, these are engineers that are doing this, and they're highly educated because where do they get educated?
Here in
They come-
America. Thank
they-
you,
They
America.
come to America, get their engineering degrees, go back and made rockets, but they put the payload in. Then they got to put the fuel in. It's all adjusted for weight, and then they have to do their azimuths and do their trajectories where they want to hit and adjust the fuel load. So the best place to see how it does that is go to the top of the minarets and watch these things take off and see where they land and then readjust. They got binoculars. They're out there looking. They want to hit that particular house. They went 100 yards too far. They tell the guy, a little less fuel, a little 2 degrees lower. So the Israelis said,
exactly right. From your vantage point is the target that they're shooting at. So you're on one side with your camera, with your 10x zoom camera. Look how great of a shot that you got on that minaret from here, from your side.
From my
That's the
side.
same shot that they have from your side. Yet, if they have like 20x binoculars or something like that, you're reading the name tags on the lapels.
yep.
You know?
and
Can
they're-
I read you a beautiful quote?
Yes, let's hear it.
The mosques are our barracks. The domes are our helmets. The minarets are bayonets. And the faithful, our soldiers.
Who said that?
Or that would be the Prime Minister of Turkey.
Who wants to be the caliph. That's why he's pissed at the Islamic State,
Right.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. But Erdogan wants to be the caliph, wants to bring the Ottoman Empire back, but the Erdogan Empire. And he actually said that. Read that again. And Mark, just show the dome. And ladies and gentlemen, the second big idea, the first big idea is President Obama is not a Christian, okay, number one. Number two, the second big idea on Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday is a mosque is not a church or a synagogue. It has minimal religious significance. It's a military base and outpost. Listen to the president of Turkey and look at this picture as Imam Abdullah reads this wonderful quote.
The mosques are our barracks. The domes are helmets. The minarets are bayonets. And the faithful our soldiers.
And look at that helmet right there. It looks like a helmet. The barracks are there where the soldiers live in. Where are the minarets? I don't
Here is
see.
one over here. I have, if you want to bring it
Oh.
here, because those were knocked down.
These
And
are
they
knocked
already,
down,
You
yeah,
already
yeah.
say they knocked them down.
Oh, those minarets are not there. I wonder what happened to them.
There's the ones on the other one.
Those minarets got targeted by the IDF because they saw Qassam missiles, Qassam rockets. Missiles need guidance systems. Basically, rockets are directed through
Well,
trial
actually,
and
you
error.
have them in our original
They
graphic.
whacked them. They
We
whacked
have
them. I
minarets
spoke to a
too.
group last night, showed them this picture, and I said, well, the IDF hit those minarets. What they start doing, the group? They start cheering last night. Great. That's what should happen when they want to use those
In
places.
fact, there's a
for-
minaret behind you on your front graphic. On your
Is that
original-
yeah, there's
right
another
there,
mosque. That,
up
well,
on
this
the left.
is, ironically, this is Muslims blowing these places up themselves because the Islamic State.
They know it's an offensive place to attack, so they have no problem blowing up, other Muslim groups'
fighting.
military base. ISIS views these mosques as military base. They know what they are.
Yep, if they're fighting the Shia in Syria, those are great targets. The Shia mosques are primary targets for the Islamic State.
Absolutely. There is nothing we would like more than to blow up all the Shia mosques in the universe.
Hold on. Think about this militarily, okay? Why do you think these minarets are so high in these different areas? It doesn't take rocket science.
Strategic.
It's a strategic advantage. Obviously, there's no doubt about it. Just look at them. They're way above high ground in a flat desert area.
But they're reaching Allah. They're reaching up to
No.
Allah.
Why do you think they're outposts? They're birds' nests, like a sniper cage. That is the reason they're there.
Of course. Everybody knows this.
Yeah, no, nothing new there. All right, 57 minutes after. Only got a couple of minutes, and I think we've gone through a whole list of stuff that we introduced in the beginning.
Yeah, we went through it all.
Well, we do pretty good. You stuff 10 pounds of camel poop in a 5-pound bag today.
What else? What else on the list should we at least just spend 30 seconds on?
30 seconds. Well, we could talk about the Ferguson crazies and the Eric Garners and what this the Nation of Islam is helping
CIA.
out.
Let's close this out because this has been a bad week for the CIA.
Yeah.
We did a story last February, February 2013, so a year and a half ago, when we were, I think we were still in the studio in a different part of Florida. We did a story where we had John Guandolo on. He is a colleague, one of the writers of Sharia, the Threat to America. John is a former special operator in the Marines, then got out of the Marines, went to the FBI. He was a subject matter expert for counterterrorism, Islamic jihad for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Left there, got fed up with the FBI's inability to fight Islamic jihad. Went out on his own, basically teaching, training law enforcement. And then he got information that in the 90s, John Brennan, the head of the CIA, this is when John Brennan was going to be considered for the position, that John Brennan had converted to Islam while a station chief in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
And do we have his picture?
We broke that story.
Did he swear in on the Bible? Or
Well, he was selected to be the head of the CIA. Who, John Brennan?
yes.
Well, you always swear on a Bible unless you're a Muslim.
Well, he didn't, did he?
Keith Ellison, he did.
He did
John
not.
Brennan, when he swore in, you mean becoming the head of the CIA?
Right.
Well, there's controversy right now that he did not convert, though John Guandolo said two of his very close federal agent friends were with him, were with Brennan when he converted. So you'd have to look at other indications. When John Brennan, when it came time for him to swear allegiance to the country and to put his hand on the Bible, that even Obama did at his inauguration, John Brennan did not put his hand on a Bible to swear in.
Yeah, he did it on put it on the Constitution. He broke like years and years and
Well,
centuries.
it wasn't the Quran. That would be too.
It was a copy of the Constitution before it included the Bill of Rights.
He asked for a copy of the Constitution to be taken out of the National Archives. He wanted to swear, to protect the Constitution by putting his hand on the Constitution. Cute. and do it in such a way that it kind of reverted back to history, whatever. Well, some people would say, what an opportunity to get past some of this criticism about being an Arabist and pro-Islam. Put your hand on that Christian Bible that all officers do. He chose not to, John Brennan.
Yep.
Now, we commended him for his initial positions against the Obama administration when they threw the CIA under the bus. Yesterday, he seems to have waffled on that. Our view is that John Brennan did indeed convert. We see enough evidence to make that beyond reasonable doubt. And that's how we're ending this show, Jumpin Jum'ah Freaky Friday. There he is right there with his hand on the Constitution. All of you have a wonderful weekend with friends and family, and we'll see you back Manic Monday next week.
Thought I'd treat you with this meditation.
Love it, man.